Alright, on today's video, we're going to be doing an unboxing on a gun that I've wanted to get my hands on for a very long time. So let's check it out. Alright, we're over on the other bench and we're going to get this box opened up and see what all comes in the box. So it is just a cardboard box. It's got foam padding in the top and the bottom. Here's our gun. We're going to talk about this in a second. It is in a plastic bag. It does have an ECI in it. Down here on this end we got some silica gel. And then we've got our bag of everything else. So we've got one magazine. We're going to talk about this magazine in a little bit. We got our lock. Alright, then we got this card. It does have a QR code because this does not come with a user manual. You have to download the manual. And that is everything in the box. Alright, this is the Palmetto State Armory AK-V 9. Now these guns have been out for quite a while now. And like I said earlier, I've been wanting one of these for a few years. Now I was on their website the other day, and what made me decide to get this one is because this is called the Redwood. And if you've been watching my channel for a long period of time, you know that red is my favorite color, so I had to get my hands on this. Now a couple things to get out of the way first. PSA did send this out to the channel for me to do a review on it. But that does not mean I get to keep this gun. If I do want to keep it, I have to buy it. But I'm not going to make the decision on whether or not I want to keep this until I get it out to the range. And I also want to give a shout out to Pursuit Armory, because they handled the FFL transfer on this AK-V 9 for me. And they are handling all the FFL transfers for the channel now. Alright, we're going to start diving into all the specs on this gun, and we're going to start out on the front and just work our way back. And if you stay tuned till the end of the video, I'm going to show you the optic that I'm putting on this to take this out to the range and test it out. So we'll start out here on the front, and this does come with a tanker style muzzle brake. You've got two ports right there in the top and two ports on each side. Now what's super cool about this muzzle brake is if you look right here, we've got a spring and a detent. So you push that in and you can twist the muzzle brake off. And we are going to be running this suppressed when we take it out for the first shots video. So we'll shoot quite a few rounds with the brake on here to see how it does. And then we'll take it off and put a suppressor on here. Now, one thing to keep in mind if you are going to run a suppressor on this is that Palmetto State Armory recommends that you use a jam nut. And I got online and ordered a pack of jam nuts, so I have everything we need to put the suppressor on this. And the barrel is threaded 1/2x28. And while we're talking about the barrel on this, this has a 10.5 inch barrel. It has a 1 in 10 twist. It is a nitrided 4150 steel barrel, so it should have some pretty decent accuracy. Now the next thing we'll talk about is the front sight. It's just an AK style sight, but the front sight is adjustable. And now we'll move back here to the handguard, and this is a Redwood handguard. Now they do have quite a few options when it comes to handguards on the AK-V 9. They do make an aluminum handguard that has M-lock attachments, which is really nice. They also have the cheese grater style that we call it. And they also have mag pull options for this and a lot of different colors of wood furniture for the AK-V9. So when you go on PSA's website, you'll see what I'm talking about. There is a bunch of different variations of this gun. Now we'll move back behind the handguard, and we do have a blacked out iron sight. And this is built right into the dust cover, which we'll talk about here in a second. But one thing to keep in mind, the rear sight is not adjustable. And then we move back right behind the rear sight, and we've got quite a bit of space here to mount an optic on our 1913 or Picatinny rail. I'm going to personally just be running a red dot on this, but if you wanted to run, say, an LPVO on this, I don't know why you would, but if you did want to, you got plenty of rail space here for a one-piece mount or 2 scope rings. I'm not going to do it on this one, but you may even have enough room here if you wanted to run a small red dot with a magnifier behind it. Now, like I said, our rail is built on to the dust cover, but as you can see, there is no slop in this. This locks up really tight, so you're not going to have to worry about losing zero on your optic. And just like any other AK, you're going to push the button in right here, and your dust cover is going to flip up just like this. Now, it does not come off like on a regular AK, but it does lift up far enough to give you access to your bolt carrier and your trigger. We're going to talk about the trigger in this in a little bit because I'm really liking the trigger in this. Now, one thing I want to talk about while we got this all opened up, even though this is an AK style firearm, this is a direct blowback 9mm. And taking it down is super simple. This comes apart just like any other AK. If I end up doing a cleaning video on this, I'll show you how to do it. But YouTube might give us some problems in this video if we start taking things apart. I do want to get these parts out off camera and bring them back and show them to you. So here's our spring, and one thing I want to talk about, if you look back here, we've got this like hard rubber bumper right here, and what that's going to do when our bolt carrier is coming back, it's hitting into this rubber, which is going to cut down a little bit on that felt recoil due to the fact that this is a direct blowback 9mm. And I want to show you this bolt carrier. It is a forged bolt carrier, and your handle is built right into the side of this. And this charging handle is not removable. So now let's talk about the receiver on this, and this is a stamped steel receiver. And being that this has a stamped steel receiver, and you got this very rigid dust cover on here with the rail, this gun is quite heavy. I have not found anything on the website yet that tells the exact weight of this, but don't think you're getting some lightweight PCC or PDW because this is not light. Now, if we look over on this side of the receiver, one thing that I really like they did with this is they put an enhanced, extended safety lever on this. Now, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but just like any other AK, we're in the safe position right there. Not going to be able to charge the gun, and all the way down is fire. So now let's talk about the magazine and your mag well on this AK-V9. So if you look here, this does have the paddle style mag release. The mag well is flared out a little bit on this. So now when it comes to the magazine, this is a Palmetto State Armory branded magazine. And we got to be really careful when we talk about this. Now, yes, it is standard capacity. The best way I can word this for being on YouTube is this is a 29 round mag, but you might be able to get 6 more in it. We'll just leave it at that. I know most people out there today aren't very intelligent, but it's basic math. You can figure it out. Now, as far as these mags go, it's an all polymer magazine. You've got the red plastic follower there, but you do have steel reinforced lips here in the mag. And the base plate on this mag is also polymer, but one thing that's really cool is this has a rubber bumper on your base plate when you drop your mags. Now, when we insert the mag, locks up nice and tight, but these magazines do not like to drop free. And there's been quite a few other YouTubers here that have done reviews on the AK-V9 that have talked about this exact same thing. Now, there is zero play in this magazine. It locks up, like I said, nice and tight. But when you go to release the mag, you're going to have to take your thumb, push in on your paddle, and strip the magazine. But now let's talk about the super cool features with these mags, because this has last round bolt hold open, which is a really nice feature to have on a PCC or a PDW. And if you look over here, what's super cool, if you see this right here, this is actually a bolt release. You pull down, let off, and it lets your bolt go forward. And one other super cool thing that I think a lot of people are going to like is these mags are fairly cheap. I'm not real happy that it only came with one, but if I want to get more when they're in stock, these are $19.99, which I don't think is too bad. And something else the CZ Scorpion fans are going to like, if you already have a CZ Scorpion, your Scorpion mags will work in the AK-V9. We're going to talk about the trigger last because this is my favorite part on this gun. But the next thing we'll move to is the grip. And the grip, obviously, is the redwood to match the handguard. And it feels pretty good in my hand. But just like the handguard, if you don't like this style, the redwood AK-V9, well, like I said earlier, they got a ton of options. So they have Magpul grips available for this, and I do believe pretty much any AK grip will work on this AK-V9. And now we're going to move to the back, because this has the triangle folding brace on it. And the brace is pretty nice. It seems to be pretty comfortable when I shoulder it, and the brace is made by SB Tactical. And to fold it, you are going to push up and twist it towards the receiver. And what's super cool about it, it locks up nice and tight. So you're not going to have to worry about this thing flopping around. And to put the triangle stock back where it was, you're going to push up again and flip it back. It is very stiff when you're pushing up on this to turn it. I'm sure it will break in over time. Now, same as the handguard, same as the grip. If you don't like this style brace, well, they have other brace options on the website as well. And this actually has 1913 Picatinny rail here on the back of the receiver that this mounts to. So if you have a favorite aftermarket brace that you like, say one from Strike Industries, well, you can put that on this. Now this gun is clear, there's no mag, nothing in the chamber. I want to talk about the trigger because this trigger is really nice and it feels really light. And we are going to put a trigger pull scale on this. So there really is no wall on this AK trigger. When you start pulling back, about right there, and then it just breaks. It doesn't have that defined wall and that crisp break like an AR. If you've ever shot AKs, you know what I'm talking about. And as far as the reset on this, it's pretty short and it's very tactile and audible, and it really pushes your finger forward. And if you watch enough videos on this AK-V9, they are really easy to bump fire. Now I got the Wheeler trigger pull scale and I am going to do a trigger pull on this. I'm going to guess this is pulling right at about 3.5 pounds. Let's see if I'm close. Yeah, I was dead on it. 3.5 pounds. It's a nice trigger. I really, really like it. One thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about the folding brace and everything, with the brace extended on this gun has an overall length of 27.5 inches. And with the brace folded, this is only 18 inches long. So it's a very concealable gun. You can put this in a bag or in a backpack. Just keep in mind, like I said earlier, this thing is heavy. All right, I promised you at the beginning of the video, I'm going to go ahead and get the optic mounted on this so I can show you what it looks like. And in the next video, we're going to take this badass little gun to the range and have some fun. All right, we got our optic on this. Now, I know some people are going to love this and some people are going to hate it. They're going to say, Chris, that optic is way too big for that AK-V9. And honestly, I think this optic is just way too big for most guns. But I actually really like it. And I'm going to have a full review coming out on this soon. But I just got this optic in when this gun came in. So I want to take it out and test it on this AK-V9. But this is the Griffin Armament heads up red dot sight. And this thing has got a massive window on it. And it's also got flip up lens caps. I think this thing is super cool. It's just got a massive window on it. So I'm pretty excited to test it out. One thing I want to say before we get out of here, because I know I have not brought it up yet, but when it comes to cost on the AK-V9, minus the optic obviously, these run right at under 1,000 beans. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, that's expensive. I don't want to pay that for a PCC or a PDW. But Palmetto State, every now and then, especially if you're keeping up with me on my weekly deals and daily deals, they do run sales on these about once a month, and you can pick these up for $7.99. Is it worth it? I don't know yet, because I haven't had it out to the range. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the sub button, because we're going to get this out to the range very soon, so you'll be seeing that video here in the next week or so. And that's all I got for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.